What is up, world changes? How you guys doing? My name is Georgina and welcome back to BC21, the channel for all. So, I just thought I'd let you know that this week's video was actually supposed to be about gender-based violence. However, we realized that if we had to do a 12-minute video about it, we wouldn't actually be doing anything and we'd just be scratching the surface. And that's not what we want. See, we want to go deeper into it. So today's video is all about empowering women. So let's get straight into it. Now, I live in South Africa and gender-based violence is something that has been happening and something that women have been struggling with a lot in South Africa. And this has been something that has been going on for years. And in the recent years, a lot of women have gathered together to bring awareness about this, to protest about this, to try and make a difference. A couple of weeks ago, this young, beautiful, brave girl made a video that went viral and she spoke about my funeral. And after sharing that video myself and a lot of my friends sharing it, we had discussions and we realized that we all felt so helpless. Why did we feel helpless? Because we felt like no matter how much protesting we're doing, no matter how much marching we're doing, no matter how much we are raising our voices in this country, things don't seem to be getting better. See, after all the things that we've done, each day there's still a girl who's gone missing. There's still a girl who's being raped. There's still women who are being murdered. There are still women who are being abused. And after all of these things that's happening, a lot of us are standing back and being like, okay, what more can we do now? Like, is there anything that we're gonna do that's actually gonna make a difference? Or is this the South Africa that we're gonna live in? But what I want to say to you right now is don't give up hope. Don't fall into this. Don't give up. Don't stop trying. See, when we raise our voices and we continue to speak about these things, that information is going to go far. It's going to travel to a girl who didn't even know that this was happening, for other girls in other places, and they're going to know what we're doing, and it's going to start turning wheels in their head, and it's going to make a difference for that girl. Now, when I say this next part, I'm not only talking to women, I'm also talking to men. See, we cannot just stand back and be like, oh, you know what? It's actually not my fight, it's their fight, so I'm just gonna stand back and not be part of it. No, this is your fight, this is your problem. Why? Because you are living in the society. And one day, you're gonna have either a young daughter or a niece or a loved one, a mom, an aunt, a cousin, a relative, and you don't want them to go through any of these things that these women ever have to go through. You're gonna love them, you want to protect them. So we better start fighting now, because even though it seems like what we're doing is hopeless now, we're making an impact for the future generation. We're making leaders and governments aware that, hey, we have a voice and we want justice for things that happen in this country. We want women to be treated equally. We want girls to be able to walk out and be safe. We want girls to be able to wear whatever they want to wear. So if you're saying that this is not your fight, it is your fight. Another thing that I'd like to address is that there is this belief that if you speak about the sin, then you're bringing the sin to life. That you are suddenly, because you speak about it, this is going to happen to you. No. And there's a difference between when you're speaking about something and when you're confessing something. So I know a lot of Christians and a lot of households who are like, okay, this is happening, so we're not going to speak about it because we don't want these things to happen. So your loved ones get left in the dark. You don't want to speak about these things because you're like, oh, if I don't speak about it, I close my eyes and I block my ears and I don't hear it, then obviously it's not going to happen to me. No, that's not at all what happens at all. See, but when we speak about things, when we give knowledge into things, you are shedding a light on things that are happening in the dark. You are no longer giving things that happen behind closed door a power. In our churches, in our youth leaders, in our pastors, in our Bible studies, people you fellowship with. Guys, we need to be speaking about this and be speaking about what is right and what is wrong. What is a godly relationship and what is not a godly relationship. See, a lot of people bring this up, this verse that women need to be submissive, or that wives need to be submissive, and they only use that. Let me tell you something. If you want to use that at me, go on and continue to read the rest of that verse. Because the rest of that verse goes on to say that if you are going to have a wife, you better be prepared to die for your wife the same way that Jesus died for the church. That if you are in a relationship and if you are not willing to die for her, then you don't deserve her. Because we know that the Bible says, love your neighbor as you love yourself. So if you're gonna do all of these things, just know that you are doing it unto yourself. Now, I want to give you guys an example. If you are a girl and you are walking through the jungle and you have a piece of meat in your pocket or in your handbag, are those predators in that jungle not going to come after you? Now hear what I'm saying. Now those predators, they're not going to stand back and they're going to be like, oh, this girl protested for her rights. Oh, this girl, she posted that video about GBV. Oh, this girl is going to report me to the police. Do I really care though? No. Why? Because they are animals, because they are predators, and they are going to come. They're going to come after us. And girls, until that day where we can walk out in the streets and be completely safe, until that day where we can wear whatever we want without feeling like we're being judged or something's gonna happen to us, until that day where there's proper law for rapists or human traffickers, until that day comes, we need to start preparing ourselves. See, when those predators and when those people come after us, we need to learn how to fight. We need to literally learn how to fight, how to defend ourselves, how to back off, how to make these people back off. I follow a lot of feminist pages, but not many of them actually give us advice or tips, like how to be safe in an Uber. What's the do's and don'ts of when you're walking alone in the streets? How to know when you're being followed and how to get rid of and avoid the situation. How to know when you're in a toxic relationship and how to get out. And that is things that we need to start teaching our girls. See, we all know that knowledge is power. So we need to start giving them knowledge. We need to start having self-defense campaigns, teaching girls how to fight back when someone has them pinned up or someone is taking them or kidnapping them. We need to teach our girls to carry a knuckle buster or pepper spray in their bag because yes, it's always good to expect the best from everyone and that we shouldn't just always assume. But sadly, the society that we live in doesn't always necessarily give us that option. And as girls, we need to be prepared. See, as girls, we need to be able that if we're driving on the highway and our tire blows, we need to be able to change that tire quick and go instead of sitting like a damsel in distress on the side of the road in danger waiting for someone to come help us. See, we need to start giving the knowledge that to our young girls to say, hey, if you're walking home from school and someone offers you a ride and you don't know this person, but they say, hey, your grandparents or your guardian or your mom or your dad said that I must come fetch you, so you need to jump in the car. We need to train our girls to not jump in that car. We need to train our girls to be like, oh, if that's the case, let me pick up my phone or refuse to get into the car, take the person's phone and be like, let me phone them and verify. That is what we need to start training our girls. We need to start training our girls how to think. Right now, we all know about the dangers. We all know about them. But right now, none of us actually know what to do if that ever were to happen. And that is what we need to start doing. See, we need to start empowering our girls. Other things that we need to be equipping our women with is that, girls, you don't have to get married. That is something that's the society is saying, no, you don't have to get married to be a woman. No, you don't have to have children to be a woman. It's something very important for young Christian girls is that you don't actually have to marry the first person that you date. Okay? It's okay to have trial and error. It's okay to lose your way and find yourself. There are Christian women out there who are staying in abusive relationships because they're so scared to get a divorce or leave because of how everyone is going to judge them. What I want to say right now is that, guys, God has never asked you to do that. God will never ask you to sacrifice your life for that, okay? He doesn't need you to give up your happiness. And you're scared that people are going to judge you? Know this, that those people who judge you, God is going to judge 10 times harder. There's also this belief that if you get a divorce, God is going to forsake you. No. God made a promise to us that He will never forsake us and never leave us. And this comes around to my last point. Is that, guy, and this one's a pretty hard one because I fall into that fraction. Is that, guys, we need to start watching what we are saying. The Bible speaks about how the tongue is the most dangerous weapon. Why? It's because from our tongue it goes to our ears, and from our ears it goes to our heart. So what we speak in here, we believe. Now, when we're saying things like, oh, South Africa is never going to get better, we're confessing it. When we say things that girls will never be safe, we're confessing it. When we're saying things like, oh, I'm probably next, we're confessing it. We need to start saying things like, one day South Africa will be safe. One day we will get justice. One day we will be able to do the things that we need to do. We need to start saying things like, I will not be next. And even if an incident were like that to happen to me, I will be ready and I will be able to protect myself. That is the things that we need to be saying. See, we can't only change our physical, but we need to change our mind. We actually need to stop saying men are trash. Now, that one's a pretty hard one. Every second day, I'm out there like, men are trash, you're trash. By me doing that, I was confessing it. See, I have 2 younger brothers who are going to grow up hearing that men are trash. And what's going to happen to this younger generation of men who hears this? They're going to turn out to be exactly what we don't want them to be, but because it was our fault. See, when we tell a fish its a whole life that you cannot swim, that fish is going to believe it. And I know, like right now, you're being like, oh, we don't actually say this to our sons, but we're saying it to the other people. But are these younger ones not hearing us? Are these small people around us, small young boys and girls, not hearing us say, hey, you are trash? No longer confess that, hey, men are trash. The same thing, we need to start changing it. We need to start saying things that, hey, boys will have self-control. Men will not do this. Men will have self-discipline. Men will be able to control themselves. Men will treat girls with respect. Those are the things that need to start being said right now. And we need to start with that empowering mindset. But most importantly, we need to be praying. We need to be fighting, because this is everyone's fight. And we need to watch the things that we say. Because what we're saying, we're confessing into life. And that, for now, is all that I have to say. Why? Because this battle is not over, and this will be the first of many empowering videos for women. So thank you very much, and remember, Jesus loves you.